What's up everybody, Mystically's here, and today we'll be going over my PS1 collection. 36 titles total, a lot of them are RPGs. Stick around to see what I got. So I broke it down into two stacks for this video. RPGs and not RPGs. The PlayStation 1 has so many great RPGs on it. I have a bunch, but I don't have them all. There's plenty out there I'm still trying to get. And sometimes they come and go. I gotta re-get them. You're gonna have that when you're collecting for sure. So, let's start right off here with the Resident Evil collection. Resident Evil Director's Cut is the one I currently have for PlayStation 1. I have the Sega Saturn version up there, CIB, but I don't have the long box version for PlayStation 1, which is what I had as a kid, and really what I'd like to get. I remember when this game came out, man, I was probably 7 years old or so, and we played it. We convinced our parents to get it for one. We played it, and yeah, our parents seen it and took it away, and we didn't see it for at least 6 more months. But yeah, after getting it again and playing through it, easily became one of my favorite franchises that I have. Next up, the infamous Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 really cemented my love for this franchise. I mean, after playing it in the 90s, I have never put it down. I got it on 3 or 4 different consoles now, and I still love replaying it to this day. Me and my friend played this game so much one summer, we did it blindfolded. I played the controller, he told me what to do, and we still got through it pretty fast, so it was a fun experience. Love Resident Evil 2. And this is the DualShock edition. Resident Evil 3. So Resident Evil 3 is my favorite of the original Resident Evil trilogy. All the different branching paths, different decision making, the crafting. I really loved everything about Resident Evil 3, and I still love revisiting it today, all the time. I'm still working on getting the strategy guides for the Resident Evil series, but I got a couple of them. And last up for the Resident Evil PlayStation 1, Resident Evil Survivor. And this is kind of a funny, quirky game, you know. I don't have a whole lot of history with it. I just got it a few years ago, and I'd love to play the PAL version on like a PAL PlayStation 1, so I can actually play it with the light gun, but until now I've had to play it with the controller. And really it's not that bad. Like, if you don't mind the character animations and everything from 1, it's a pretty cool game, really. I kind of like the quick arcade experience feel of it too. So Resident Evil Survivor is not bad. Yeah, it's not for the fight or flight Resident Evil fans, but for the diehards, I recommend getting it. Alright, up next here we got Wild 9. Wild 9's a fun PS1 game. It's kind of cheap, so that's always a good thing, you know what I mean? And it's it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of a platformer of sorts, but you get to torture the crap out of your enemies in all kinds of funny ways, and that's kind of the draw for this game. It's gonna sound weird, but it kind of reminds me of like a Crash Bandicoot with how your character moves through the level. I know it's not like a same concept as Crash Bandicoot, but it feels very similar. Let me know in the comments if I'm being stupid there or not. But Wild 9, very fun, very cheap. Alright, next up we got Mega Man Legends. I don't have to introduce Mega Man Legends, I don't think, to most people. It's an awesome action RPG based off the Mega Man universe, and it's kind of funny, hot take, I'm not a big fan of Mega Man. I don't really like the 2D Mega Mans. I've played them a bunch, different ones, and people have always recommended them over the years, and of course I check them out over and over, but for some reason I love the Legends series. I don't own any of the other ones right now. I used to, and I need to get them back, but I've always owned Legends. I've always wondered which was the better port between the PS1 and the 64. I'd vote probably the 64 or the PS1 version, but I'm not sure. Put in the comments what you think. Here we got the Game of Life. This is actually a super fun game. we revisit this game pretty often, and you get a few friends together, having a good time, having a few drinks or whatever you do. Game of Life is definitely a fun playthrough. It didn't take too long to get through it, and you're gonna like it. And it's real cheap. It's real cheap. All right, and here we got the Dino Crisis series 1 and 2, and these are masterpieces right here. If you like, the classic survival horror PS1 games, and you don't have the Dino Crisis series in there, do yourself a favor, go get them. I know they're getting expensive. I don't know why 2 is so much more expensive than 1. Maybe they just made less of them or something, but I like 1 better personally. The 2 got a bit more action-y and arcadey with the score count and all that stuff. I liked it more when it was based on the B cinema film style game, and the whole mystery and to solve all the puzzles and everything. And there was less of that in 2 and a lot more action. Still way better than 3. Like, you get 3 for the collection, but it's not really worth playing. But Dino Crisis 1 and 2, must-haves. And Area 51. Area 51 is kind of special to me because when I was a kid growing up, we didn't have a big arcade in my hometown, and the only light gun game they had in there was Area 51. So probably until I was like, I don't know, it had to have been like 16 or so. The only 2 light gun games I had played, the only 3 light gun games I had played would have been Duck Hunt, Virtual Cop, and Area 51. And unfortunately, I don't have the Konami gun, so I can't play this right now, but I'll get it. And this one's a new one. This is the Italian Job. So I got this, I won this from Whatnot, and it's a Rockstar game. I haven't checked it out actually, and kind of looking forward to it. It's been sitting in the collection for a while, and looking forward to checking it out. The Italian Job. Let me know if it's any good. Up next, we got Final Doom. Final Doom is probably one of my more favorite ways to play Doom. And some of these games, let me go over that for a second. Some of these games are going to look better on a CRT, and some of these games are going to look better upscale, whether you're using RetroTink, backwards compatible PS3. PS3 is my favorite way to do some of them, but I feel Doom and the Resident Evils, anything with pre-rendered backgrounds, and anything that's heavily 2D or anything like that, I feel like it looks better on a CRT. But Final Doom is awesome, but it's super hard. I was getting the game capture for this, and it's been a while since I played it. I was like, man, it was so hard. I had the yellow card, and I was right there, but I got shot down. So, but if you like Doom, I'm not sure how much it's going for nowadays. I don't think it's too pricey, but if you're a big Doom fan, I would highly recommend it. And here's one of my favorites right here. I play this every Christmas. Die Hard Trilogy. You get 3 games, 3 different styles, all that based off the first 3 Die Hard movies. And I personally like all 3 of them. They're kind of an acquired taste. But the second one, the light gun game, everybody likes. And it's based around Christmas time, it's based around the second movie, and highly recommend that. Like I said, I play it every Christmas. Next up, we got Fear Effect. So this one's kind of weird for me. I played it as a kid. I remember getting it. I don't remember if I rented it, or if I borrowed it, or what, but I didn't have much time with it. And I remember not being able to figure it out a whole bunch. And I got it last year, and I played it a little bit. I got to the second disc, but I haven't got real deep into it yet. So I know there's a second one. It seems right up my alley when it comes to graphics and overall concept and everything. So Eidos, Fear Effect, pretty cool. Let me know if you like that series. Don't hear a lot of people talking about that series. And here we got Darkstone. This is kind of a fun one. Pretty cheap one. If you see it around, if you like Diablo games, I'd pick it up. It's kind of a Diablo clone of the time and everything, and it's good. It's a fun romp through. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's really good, but compared to Diablo. But if you're a fan of those types of games and you want to go back and see what some of the predecessors look like, Darkstone's pretty fun. And here we get the classic, Twisted Metal. And you'll notice throughout this whole collection, I'm not afraid for opting out for the Greatest Hits edition. They all play the same. They're usually a little bit cheaper, so I don't mind seeing the green on the shelf. But I got a lot of nostalgia for the original Twisted Metal. When it comes to actually playing them, I kind of like playing Black more than any of them, or the PS3 one. I forget what that one's called, but I got a lot of nostalgia for the first one because me and my brother played it so much when it first came out, and getting the truck and everything, the Big Mac truck, and going through people, and love Twisted Metal. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Twisted Metal is. There's so many throughout the years. Here we got another light gun game, probably one of the best ones, Time Crisis. I don't have Project Titan yet. I'm definitely, I've been looking for it. That's another thing you'll notice, it may seem like I'm missing like certain ones you'd think I have, and that's because I have a big list. I got a big book, everything written down that I guarantee you want to get, and I wait for the right price to pop up for the most part. Sometimes, I really want to play something and I'll order it, and that happens, which is fine, but for the most part, I try to wait for a deal pop up, or I can find it locally, something like that. I enjoy getting and collecting like that. And here we got the Metal Gears, VR Mission and Metal Gear Solid. And man, I love the Metal Gear series. I got almost all of them, and I've been playing it for a long, long time. I definitely want to get David Hayter's autograph one day. And I remember playing it when it first came out. I remember renting it, and I couldn't really figure it out when it first came out, but after renting it 3 or 4 times, I got through it and everything, and man, it was an awesome ride. I remember when VR Mission came out, I was like, oh, sweet, another Metal Gear, and I rented it and played it. I was like, what the heck is this? It kind of makes sense now looking at it, how many times they've done that, released like a predecessor to kind of show you what the different graphics and the different movements and everything are going to be like, but at the time, it was like, man, this is kind of a real. Let me know if you thought that was a ripoff back then when you rented Metal Gear VR Missions. But if you don't have Metal Gear Solid and you have a PS1, you gotta get it. It's one of the heavy hitters for the console. Not like it didn't cost a whole lot, but it's one of the main ones you gotta have. And there's a bunch that I'm missing that I really want to get that aren't really expensive, like Siphon Filter. I love me a Siphon Filter. We used to play that all the time, but I just haven't got it. Like I said, I haven't seen it for a certain place at a certain price yet. And I'm going to get it. It's one of those games that's going to be around, Moving right along, next up we got Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Another must-have for Castlevania fans if you're, in the Castlevania. Rondo is definitely considered up there when it comes to some of the best, but for me for my money, I like Symphony of the Night. This game's got crazy bosses. The flow and music of this game is perfect. I swear it's art in motion playing this game. And I also really like Circle the Moon. I really like Rondo Blood. So, but if I had to choose, Symphony of the Night is my favorite by far. Play Symphony of the Night if you like Castlevania. Even if you don't really like Castlevania, if you got a PlayStation 1, or even if you're just emulating it, it's a great game no matter how you play it. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And this is a fun series right here. Got the Jet Moto series, 1 and 2. This game's kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie. It's an acquired driving on this game, okay? But once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty fun. And they're cheap. You can find them, even pretty easily, on the cheap. And I kind of like the Jet Moto series. Like I said, it's not the best looking game. I like how technical the driving is in this game. You can't just mash the throttle the whole time. You gotta be kind of paying attention, letting off, putting on, making your whips around. Like it's a hard game for sure, but once you get a feel for it, it's a very addicting game, and that's what I like about it. Jet Moto 1 and 2. And I saved this one for last for the PS1 games, because this is probably one of my crown jewels when it comes to PS1 games, and that's Rival Schools. This is one of my favorite fighters of all time, and I didn't have it for a long time. My brother-in-law actually sent this to me as a gift, and I was blown away. He knew I loved the franchise. He knew I didn't have it. I had it loose for a while, and then like a fool, I traded it off, and I'm so happy to have it back in my collection. It's in really good condition too. Thanks a lot for that, brother. Rival Schools is my jam. I want to get Project Justice on the Dreamcast, but it's real pricey. It's going to be a while before I can add that one in the collection. But if you like 3D technical fighters for the PS1, like Street Fighter EX or Tekken, if you get a chance, play Rival Schools. Alright, that's it for the regular games. Now we're going to dive into the RPGs. I used to have a couple more, but they come and go, like I said, and a couple of them will be back in the collection one day. So next up, we're going to be looking at Parasite Eve, masterpiece of the series. 1 and 2 are awesome. I haven't played Third Birthday for the PSP yet, but I haven't heard great things. I don't have Parasite Eve 1 complete. It's kind of a funny story behind that. I actually ordered the Resident Evil Director's Cut. You see Parasite Eve 1 and Parasite Eve 2 way back when GameStop started doing their retro revival stuff and selling their stuff online again. And it was like, I want to say it was like $60 or $70 for all 3 of them. And you never knew if they were going to come with the case or not, but luckily Parasite Eve 2 did, and that was pretty cool at least. But I still need to get a case for this one, but great turn-based RPG, survival horror, turn-based RPG. You get to see Squaresoft in rare form on this one. It's for mature audiences. There's a lot of messed up stuff that goes on in these 2 games, but very cool series. Must play. And fun fact, I actually have a running tradition for Parasite Eve 1 where I play every Christmas Eve. Sometimes I only play for a couple hours. Sometimes I play through the whole game, about 8.5 hours. I can run through it pretty quick. And 7 years running, love Parasite Eve. I would love to see like a live action movie adaptation of the Parasite Eve series. I think that could do pretty well. Next up we got Jade Cocoon. Jade Cocoon is a very unique JRPG for the PS1. It involves a lot of monster fusing. It's kind of like Pokemon. You gotta catch a bunch of different monsters. You can fuse them together. I love the traditional Japanese storyline. Great RPG. Another funny story behind this one. When I was a kid, me and my dad were chilling. My brother was off, sleepover with somebody on the weekend. And he was like, hey, you want to go get a game? I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a game for sure. We go to Walmart. We get there. We're looking at all the games. I forget exactly what was the new hot game right there, but they were all like $29.99 or so. PS1. And I'm looking around. And he must have forgot how much games cost or something. Because he was like, He's like, what about this one? He grabs Jade Cocoon off the super clearance rack, like $9.99. And I had played, not a lot, but at least one. I'll tell you about that here in a minute. Turn-based RPG at that moment. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, it looks kind of weird, you know what I mean? I took it back and played it. One of my favorite turn-based RPGs to this day. So thanks a lot for that one, Dad. Love Jade Cocoon. Check it out. And up next we got Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross is a masterpiece of a turn-based RPG. It's not my favorite on the console, but I can't deny its greatness. 40 different characters, all different unique weapons and skills, all different interchangeable throughout your party, throughout the game. Very dynamic turn-based RPG, and it can be got on the cheap. So if you like them and you got a PS1, you gotta have it in your collection. Up next, Legend of Mana. Legend of Mana is a beautiful game. I'm gonna say it was all watercolor art in the beginning, and they made it into sprites, and beautiful, beautiful game. And very unique too. You get to do 2 players if you want to. You get to customize your storyline throughout the game with the world creation system. Legend of Mana is an awesome game. I'm not sure how much it costs nowadays. It might still be pretty pricey. I can't remember, but if you can get it, and especially if you're a fan of the series, you gotta have Legend of Mana. This is a pretty special one for me right here, Xenogears. Xenogears is the first turn-based RPG I ever played. I remember being at a Hollywood video, looking around. It's one of those weekend nights where you done played everything, you done rented everything, and there said Xenogears. I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I don't know, it looks kind of different, it looks kind of weird, but man, I guess I done played everything else, so I might as well try it. And this game kindled the fire for turn-based RPGs in my heart. I always have a copy of it. I've had this one for probably like 14 years now, so I love Xenogears. And it's kind of like a visual novel when it comes to turn-based RPGs. If you like, it's wordy. If you like reading, you feel like if you're in the mood for kind of having a book where you want to read, it's gonna be right up your alley because it's a wordy game, but real cinematic. But it's a great game. And then we got the Final Fantasy series. I'm gonna kind of fly through these because we all know Final Fantasy. And here we got it's the whole PlayStation set. Here we got 1 and 2, great games. And they're updated, of course, use different save systems and everything like that. Here we got Chrono Trigger and 4, two of my favorite. I love Chrono Trigger, and this is my favorite way to play it too, on the backwards compatible PS3. And 4 is probably my second favorite when it comes to all the classic Final Fantasy games. My favorite being 7. And then we got 5 and 6. 5 and 6 is the ones I have the least amount of experience with. I played through 5 once many years ago, and I dabbled into 6 just a little bit. And I have not much experience with them. Let me know in the comments if I need to go back and replay them. And next up we got Final Fantasy VII. This is the Mac Daddy when it comes to classic Final Fantasy games. There's a lot of debate which one's better, 9 or 7. In my book, it's 7. There's so much to do in this game. The main storyline, if you just want to run through the main storyline, I think it's like 40 hours or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But if you want to 100% this game, it's like double that. And I've always liked that about this game. And when I first got it, I first rented it as a kid. Me and my friend got it, and we were trying all night to beat that Scorpion in the first reactor, and we could not do it. And fast forward, I was a teenager, I would master this game. I remember my first time 100%ing it. I've 100%ed it several times since then. I love Final Fantasy VII. Next up, Final Fantasy Tactics. And this is a super fun strategy RPG. Not my favorite strategy RPG, not even on the console, but it is a great one. I remember having a huge Chocobo army back in the day and causing all kinds of fun and chaos with it. Next up, we got Final Fantasy VIII. And I really like Final Fantasy VIII, especially when I played it back in the day, because it was like, man, look at the character models. They actually look like people. Like, the whole Zodiac storyline's kind of different, but I still like Final Fantasy VIII. I thought the mechanics were solid enough to play, and it was all there, Final Fantasy VIII is good. You can pick it up on the cheap. And if you're going for the Final Fantasy games for the PS1, you might as well. And last but certainly not least, we got Final Fantasy IX. And this is such a great game. I always lose speed around disc 3 though. I don't know why. Tell me if that happens to you. I go into disc 2 real strong, liking it. Like, oh, this is awesome. I'm loving this. I get to disc 3, I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of bored. And I usually come back to it a month or two later, but I've noticed that over the years. I've played through it several times, and every time I get to disc 3, I just lose speed. I don't know. Just lose the steam. But it's a great game, and when it came out, the graphics were like, man, I can't believe they were able to do this. So Final Fantasy IX is great. I got two more little fun little bonus ones here. You got the memory card case where you can hold 3 or 4 different memory cards. I think some of them had 3, this one's got 4. And this case is broken, so I'm not going to open it, but I still keep memory cards in here to this day, and I got it for like $1 at a garage sale forever ago, so I like having that. And last, I got one that's real special to me. So this is 17 parts for the PS1. And when I was 18, I took a work trip to Seattle for a year. And I came back, and literally the day I came back, my parents were having a garage sale, which apparently were a series of garage sales. And this was among 3 other games, which was the last of my childhood collection. And you can see the dollar price tag on there. And I still love it. I actually really do like this game. I replay it. Me and my son play it. Awesome game. But that's why this is very, and it's loose too. It's very special to me. And if I had to keep, just a couple, I'm definitely keeping Xenogears no matter what. But this one's very special to me. If I had to keep 2, this one's in there. And I got three other ones that were all Dreamcast games that were all loose. I got back from that garage sale, but it's alright. These things happen. It's just stuff. So that's one reason this one's very special to me. So thanks for coming along while we check out my PS1 collection. It's an ever-evolving collection. The PlayStation 1 has an amazing library with so much to offer, and I'm always going to be looking for more titles for it. I'm going to be doing all my consoles one by one. I got like 20 different ones, so drop in the comments which ones you'd like to see next. Till next time, I'm Mysticles. Stay safe out there.